What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of This Week in Sports. You know who it is. It's your boy, Romeo Sharp. I hope you guys had a great 3-day weekend for Memorial Day. Hope you guys had some good barbecue or whatever else you guys, do for Memorial Day. Hopefully you went out to the beach. I know it was a hot weekend as well. It was a busy weekend for me with work and stuff like that. So I had my hands full for sure. So, but again, I hope you guys had a great weekend altogether. Before I get into any sports, y'all, I've been really hooked on ever since the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith came out. What was I think last month or something around those lines. I just been really hooked on Star Wars, so I just been on a Star Wars binge with the series that is, at least like with the TV shows and stuff like that. I just finished up watching the Clone Wars. It was 7 seasons, and let me just say, like, after watching Revenge of the Sith probably for like the 10th time in my life, and now watching Clone Wars and seeing like the bits and pieces like leading up to it, it's freaking incredible. It's actually insane. And I'm on this path right now. So right now I'm watching Rebels. So I'm on that path watching Rebels, and then now after that I'm gonna get into Ahsoka, and then try to watch Andor. And then maybe the Mandalorian. Maybe we'll try to see if I could get into that as well. But just overall, I'm just been hooked on Star Wars. I also re-downloaded Battlefront 2. I know that's actually been a huge thing that's been happening in the gaming community for sure. A lot of people have been picking back up the sticks and playing Battlefront 2. I'm not playing online yet. I never really was good on online shooting games regardless. I was never good at Warzone. I never really actually played Fortnite, so I was never really good at anything like that. So I just like playing the story mode and just like playing with all the Jedi, the Sith Lords and stuff like that, and just playing with the clones and stuff like so that's like really something exciting to me that I've been enjoying as of recently. I want to know if you guys enjoy Star Wars, or have any Star Wars fans out there. What is your favorite Star Wars movie, or maybe Star Wars series that you like as well? Like I said, I think Clone Wars, after watching it, that was probably one of the greatest series I've ever watched ever, because like I said, it really just, all the missing pieces you get from Attack of the Clones and in between Revenge of the Sith, and also leading up to New Hope and all that stuff as well. You get all that information, and you also get to learn a little bit more about other characters, like General Grievous, who you they didn't touch on him really in in Revenge of the Sith. So just overall, like, if you haven't seen Clone Wars and you're a Star Wars fan, I watched it as a kid, but I didn't really remember much, so I'm glad I picked it back up, and I'm glad I went through and watched all of it. That first season's a little rough to get through, just because of like animation wise and stuff like that. But overall, I think you get the picture. Like, definitely check it out if you haven't seen it yet. I mean, if you haven't watched Star Wars in general, you should definitely pick it up. Like, I think it's probably better than like the Star Treks or Harry Potter or anything like that. I like that franchise a little bit more. So. But enough about my rambling about Star Wars and all that stuff, y'all. Let's get into what happened this week, starting off with the Western Conference Final recap. So, with the Western Conference Final, happening last night, SGA and company, they take a commanding 3-1 lead in this series. After they had an embarrassing 42-point loss, which, by the way, makes them the first team in playoff history to win by as many as 50 points and lose by as many as 40 points in the same postseason. They squeeze by and they defeat the Timberwolves on the road 128-126. SGA himself, he was shy of a 40-point triple-double. He had 40 points, 10 assists, 9 rebounds in 40 minutes, so he was a high volume shooter. He played extremely consistent last night. He was 13 of 30 from the field. We had other folks contributed as well. Jalen Williams, he shot 13 of 24, so he was pretty aggressive last night. He had 34 points himself, 6 of 9 shooting from the three. Chet himself, what the oh my god. Chet Holmgren himself, he had 21 points. Very efficient shooter last night as well. 9 of 14 from the field, 7 rebounds, and had 3 big blocks as well. Honestly, they dominated all across the board in this game, whether it is fast break points, rebounds, anything of that nature. They kind of just dominated Minnesota altogether. And we really got to give credit to that defense. And when we give that credit to that defense, we'll see while we look at this T-Wolves team and see how much they have struggled and how much they have just kind of stunk up this series and kind of haven't lived up to the expectations heading into this series that everyone kind of thought they would. Now for Julius Randle, now he had two stinkers already in this, two stinker of games already in this series. Let me see. Along with game two, this game he had 5 turnovers, y'all. He had 5 turnovers last night. He was 1 of 7 from the field, 0 of 3 from the 3-point line, and only had 5 points. His counterpart, Anthony Edwards, he was not aggressive all this game either. He was 5 of 13 from shooting. He had only 16 points. His response after the game, and let's kind of look at it. This is word for word what he said. He said, I don't really look at it like I struggled. I didn't get enough shots to say I struggled. So yeah, that might be how you guys look at it. But yeah, I didn't struggle at all. I just made the right plays. And looking at that quote, the box score does not reflect what he's just said at all. Anthony Edwards, you are supposedly supposed to be the face of the league for the next coming years, and putting up 13 shots in a game 4 that's crucial for you guys to at least tie the series up, and you only come out with 16 points. I think you turned the ball over 5 times himself as well. And so just seeing him struggle in this game and not play aggressive, I think actually leading up to the half, I think he only had, what was it, I think 2 or like 4 shot attempts. So it was an abysmal of a performance, but from him and from Julius Randle. And again, him saying that he didn't struggle, you just got to take the L. You got to chalk this up and chalk this up to the game and take that L, because you did struggle and you have been struggling prior to last game. You've been struggling majority of this postseason, I mean, in terms of this series. Now SGA himself, like your counterpart SGA, he hasn't really been playing efficient, but he doesn't really care. He's gonna jack up 20 plus shots a game, 30 plus shots a game. He don't really care. He's gonna do what he has to do to try to, he's a high volume shooter himself, and he's gonna try to, whether it's, there's only 3 options here for him. You're either gonna score, you're either gonna get fouled, or you're gonna shoot a 3. So it's one of those 3. He's gonna, you're gonna miss the shot. One of those 3 things are gonna happen. And I think Anthony Edwards need to kind of go into this next game, because tomorrow it's do or die for them. It's do or die for them. And if he doesn't want to get a gentleman's sweep, he's gonna have to come in and he needs to shoot. He needs to shoot 20 plus times. Julius Randle needs to definitely shoot 20 plus times himself as well. And you need Rudy Gobert. You need old man Mike Conley. I think this whole series he's had 6 points, 2 points, 0 points. Old man Mike Conley, he needs to kind of step up himself as well. I mean, Jaden McDaniels, he came off the bench and he played extremely well. I believe he had 21 points last night. But overall, or the 3 guys actually off the bench had double digits. You had Naz Reid with 11. Dante DiVincenzo, he finally showed up a little bit. He hasn't really showed up as much this postseason, but he had 21 points himself. And then Alexander Walker, he had 23 points. If we look at this game last night, though, y'all, it was within reach. It wasn't within reach for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Like, even with Anthony Edwards struggling, even with Julius Randle struggling, they were within 2 points. They were within 2 points majority of the game. I think there was like 14 lead changes or something along those lines. So, it was going back and forth, and regardless, it looked like the Thunder couldn't really do much against the bench players. At least they contained the top 2 players in Anthony Edwards and in Julius Randle, but overall wasn't much there for them. They had 23 turnovers the entire game. Sloppy basketball play altogether for the Timberwolves. That last possession of the game, I think there was like 0.3 seconds left. There should have been 0.6 seconds left on the clock, but I'm not sure it would have made a big difference regardless, even with that 0.3, maybe not. I mean, maybe it would have made the shot a little bit less of a rush, but I think he just like lobbed it. I think Anthony Edwards inbounded the ball, tried to lob it up to Rudy, and that didn't go well at all. I think Jalen Williams was right there to snatch it up. So overall, that game last night, it just kind of showed that that Thunder team is rolling. They are rolling, and tomorrow is Game 5. And what do you guys think? Do you think this series is gonna get wrapped up? I personally think it might be. I think this might be it. I think I was watching nightcap yesterday too, and I think what was Shannon saying? He was saying that when is what is it? When is Anthony Edwards gonna get the Jason Tatum like treatment or something like that? And I think in terms of like, because he makes, I mean, Jason Tatum's made the conference finals. I think every year he's been in the league almost. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And then with Anthony Edwards, same thing. I mean, he's been making it to the conference finals, but he hasn't really touched that ring yet, at least in a sense. I mean, Jason Tatum, he has a ring, but Anthony Edwards hasn't really touch that level yet. And if he wants to be the face of the league, he's gonna have to claw his way back. He's gonna have to claw his way back from this 3-1 deficit against a really good, very complete team in the Thunder, who also has the MVP as well. So, and let's get into that actually, y'all. So earlier last week, SGA was announced as the 2024-2025 NBA MVP. He's the third player in Thunder history to win it, alongside KD and Russell Westbrook. And let's kind of just dive in. Let's just look at the numbers here of why he won this such prestigious award and why we were deserving of him. So for SGA, he had 32 points. He averaged 32.7 points a game, 5 rebounds, 6.4 assists on 51% shooting from the field. Making half of your shots is not bad. I think he shot over like a lot. He shot a lot, y'all. He's a high volume shooter, like I said. So he shot over a lot. He had a plus minus, which is this is a historic plus minus of plus 918 differentiation when he's on the court. He's also had the most 20-point games with 56. He's had the most 30-point games with 49. He's had the most 40-point games with 13. And he's also had the most 50-point games with 4. Now, I think this MVP for SGA is well deserved, and this won't it was well deserved. I won't take away from his performance all year. Like, he really played extremely well. I had Jokic as my MVP, but again, this is reasonable, and I think, like I said, SGA. I mean, he led them to 68 wins this season, and so just. I think this is obviously. I think it came down to probably the wins as well in terms of for their MVP. I mean, Jokic put up historic numbers himself, but you couldn't argue in terms of wins. In terms of like the voting, so if you look into like the voting and how it went, SGA he had 71 first place votes to Jokic's 29, and kind of a little thing here. LeBron himself, I think he had a couple he was in 6th place in terms of MVP. So the 40-year-old man is still pushing it through. So, but in terms of SGA winning MVP, this is the 7th straight season that an international player has won this award. Now, in terms of the Thunders that won this MVP award, let's kind of rank them among who I think is the best of these 3 MVPs. So KD, he won it in 2013-2014. He averaged 32 points, 7 rebounds, 5.5 assists. He was shooting 50, 40, and 87. Russell Westbrook himself, and won it in 2016-2017. He was averaging a triple-double, 31.6, 10.7, 10.4. So in terms of player efficiency rating, SGA ranked first, followed by Russ, then KD. SGA had a PER of 30. Russ had a PER of 29. KD had a PER of 27, I believe it was. The other two, though, the only thing that kind of separates this is the other two played 5 more games than SGA, but that's kind of largely due to winning 68 games and probably him resting in the later half of the season and stuff like that. Maybe even just not playing in the second half of some games, or playing in the fourth quarter and stuff, getting pulled early. So they were just dominant. It was, in terms of like teams, obviously this SGA-led Thunder team is the best out of all of them. The other thing too, the other two could not cement a championship. But again, we're not going to base this off postseason success, but we're going to keep it to regular season. But if I were to rank them, and this is my personal ranking, but I do want to know what you guys think down below as well. Where would you rank these 3 guys in terms of their MVP seasons? I'm going to rank this as SGA number 1, Russ number 2, and KD number 3 in terms of their MVP seasons. Again, I mean, if SGA can lead them to the championship, then like I said, this is probably, he'll definitely cement himself as probably one of the best Thunders to play for this for the franchise for sure. Now let's shift over to the Eastern Conference Final, y'all. We have the Pacers versus Knicks series, and let me just say this series just hasn't been any short of just fun and exciting to watch. Now the Pacers, they were surprised. They surprised a lot of people. Like I'm pretty sure I predicted the Knicks. I wanted them to win this series, but the way this series is panning out, it's looking a little bit scary. We're not gonna lie. The Pacers were very surprising. They stole both Game 1 and Game 2 on the road over at MSG. So, and again, I talked to you guys last week, and I think I've said this multiple times about this Pacers team. They're kind of by committee in the sense of, you don't know who's going to score today, who's going to be their top scorer of the team. You're going to have Tyrese Halliburton. He's going to have 15 plus. Miles Turner is going to have 15 plus himself. Pascal Siakam, you don't know what kind of day he's going to have. But in Game 1, Aaron Naismith, he had 30 points himself. In that game, and I think what was he? I think he was 6 for 6 from the three in the fourth quarter, which is probably, I think it ties the most 3-point shots made in the fourth quarter in the postseason in NBA history. So he had a monstrous fourth quarter. All that leading up to a game-tying shot from Halliburton to send the game to overtime, which he was like a couple inches off from actually just making it be a 3-pointer and winning the game by 1, but those are the headliners from game 1. The other thing too is they rallied from being down 14 points with under 3 minutes to go. And I think if any team that's down 14 points with under 3 minutes to go, I believe their record is like 0-927 or something like that, something around those lines. I don't know what the exact number is, but at the end of the day, still, now make that 1 in 927 or whatever it is, because Tyrese Halliburton and company, they came back down 14. Now for the Knicks though, Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns, they've been carrying the load for the Knicks this series, y'all. Jalen Brunson himself, he had 43 points, and Cat had 25 in that Game 1. So they played as hard as they could, but like I said, it's just there's too many weapons on that Pacers team in terms of just pure scorers. Like, you can only contain as many as you can, you know what I'm saying? But again, whoever's on the floor for the Pacers, is by committee. You don't know who's actually going to be the number one scorer for that team, and this speaks true in Game 2. So in Game 2, it was Siakam. It was Pascal Siakam's night to shine. He had a career high, I think, with 39 points in that game. Jalen Brunson himself too, he had 36 points, and he's been averaging over 38 points this series. So he's playing well. He's playing very aggressive, and he's getting to the basket. He's making the right shots. He's playing smart basketball himself. But like I said, it's just you need other pieces to step up. You need other guys like OG to step up. You need other guys like Josh Hart to step up a little bit more. Maybe get you like 15 points as opposed to that 8 to 10 range that he's been getting all postseason. So they were down 2-0, like I said, in that Game 2. But they had a bit of a resurgence in Game 3. They had four starters with double-digit points that game. And like I said, from what we can tell from this series, no lead is ever safe in this series by any means. They were, the Pacers were up 20 points, and the Knicks surged on back to keep this series alive. Now being only down 2-1 in this series. In that game, Indiana was struggled to shoot the three, only shooting 5 of 25 from the 3-point range. Game 4 is tonight, y'all. Game 4 is tonight, and I want to know what you guys think. What is going to happen? What is going to happen with this series? Are the Knicks going to pull out this win and tie up the series, or are the Pacers going to take a commanding 3-1 lead and head to New York and try to finish things off? I want you guys to let me know down below what you think. Honestly, Game 4 with this, what I think tonight is, I truly think, man, I don't know. I really don't know, because even with like I said, with Jalen Brunson and Cat averaging well over 25 plus points respectively, each of them, if someone else needs to step up for this next team. I think, like I said, if they get one more guy to kind of just step up and take some of the weight off both of their shoulders, I can see the Knicks winning tonight. But the way the Pacers are playing, I mean, they've been getting fast break points out of the ass. So it's just the way they're playing and stuff like that too. It's gonna be very hard for this Knicks team to try to, hopefully they still got, I think Jalen Brunson and Cat still got a lot left in their tank for this series to try to really extend this at least to Game 5, or at least to Game 6 for sure. But I think overall, I think the Pacers might, pull away and have a commanding 3-1 lead heading back to New York. So, but again, let me know what you guys think down below. And while we're at that, please make sure you guys are subscribing, liking, leaving comments down below and on my videos as well. Also, while you're at it, make sure to follow my Instagram, This Week in Sports Pod. Also follow my TikTok as well, which is the same handle as well, y'all. Now we're going to shift over, y'all. We're going to shift over to, some NFL, some college football news that's been happening around the league as well. So, y'all, we're 100 days away from the NFL season officially starting. What that means is now Noah's going to do 100 push-ups for us right now. Right, Noah? No, he's not going to do that, y'all. He's not going to do that. I don't know what's wrong with him. But, so we're 100 days away from the NFL football regular season, y'all. But what happened recently, the NFL owners, they held their spring meeting in Minneapolis. And let's look at some of the biggest headlines from this NFL meeting. One of which is, it was a unanimous vote that the NFL, all the owners, that agreed that NFL players will be eligible to participate in the flag football in the 2028 Olympics, Summer Olympics, that is. Now let's kind of look at this the flag football Olympics real quick. So let's kind of look at because I think it got approved a little bit prior to that. So the Olympics flag football competition will consist of 6 men's teams, and 6 women's teams, composed of 10 players per team, with a game itself a 5-on-5 format. This is what it was really interesting too. Each participating country may select 1 player per NFL roster. So in addition to permitting each team's designated international player to play for his country, so some of these players, I think like Christian Gonzalez, like the corner for the Patriots, I think he's from like Brazil or something along those lines or something. So someone like him, obviously Brazil can select him, or you got David Njoku, who's from from somewhere in like Africa. So that's where his origins from. So he could probably get picked up from the African team. So. But one of the highly touted flag football players, I think, what is it? Is it Daryl Duce? I'm going to butcher that name. But he kind of spoke about, this whole NFL players being eligible to play in the 2028 Olympics. And what he stated was, this is a sport that we played for a long time, and we feel like we are the best at it, and we don't need other guys, referring to NFL players being added. He also continues to state, the flag guys deserve their opportunity. That's all we want. We felt like we worked hard to get the sport to where it's at. And then when the NFL guys spoke about it, it was like we're getting kicked to the side. I feel like I was the guy who could speak out for my peers, for my brothers that's been working hard to get to this level, for us not to be forgotten. And he finishes off with basically, by saying, but we all have one goal in mind, and that's to represent our country. We're definitely open to all the competition. If those guys come in and ball out and they're better than us, hats off to them. Go win that gold medal for our country. So my personal thoughts on that, at least for NFL players being eligible, I mean, it's going to be risky for sure. Who knows how many actual superstars in the NFL will actually want to participate in a 2028 Olympics? I think, AJ Brown already kind of went on the air and already said he doesn't want to, because I think with the Summer Olympics, it's going to be happening at the same time that NFL OTAs and camp and mini camp, all that stuff is going to be happening around that same time. And I think the biggest thing for AJ Brown that he's thinking about public scrutiny for sure, in terms of the public media saying, oh, why is he not showing up to camp? Why is he, laying off, maybe if he had a down year, why is he going off to play in a flag football competition when he had a bad year and he needs to work on his his game and stuff like that. So I think that's really what he's looking more for towards, like, in sense of like he's already kind of written himself off. He doesn't want to join. But I mean, there's still like, what is it? What year is it? Well, they still got 3 years left. So maybe his mind might change, might switch within the next coming years. But overall, like I said, this is a risky thing for these NFL players. And then obviously for Daryl himself, I mean, he's pretty good. I mean, I think, what was it? A couple of years ago, he actually played against NFL players in a flag football game. I think it was against Mike Vick's like flag football team, and he lit it up over there actually. So, he's not no scrub himself, and I think he's very warranted to feel that way, wanting him and his guys, to try to make sure they're still able to secure their spot for to represent the US, and it's a prestigious thing to go to Olympics and represent your country, you know what I'm saying? So like with this, it's just like it's I really think I agree with him a little bit. I hope he's able to, they're not pushed to the side, but at the same time, like, if you want, we need the best of the best out there for our country. So whether it's him or whether it's not, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I think he personally even said himself that he thinks he's a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes in a sense of like his IQ and everything like that. And I understand, especially from coming from personal experience, y'all. Hold on, give me a second. Coming from personal experience myself, there is a pretty big difference between 7-on-7 flag football and then obviously tackle football. A lot of nuances to it for sure. But so I can see why he thinks that way, because obviously, there's different levels to flag and as opposed to tackle. Obviously, obviously the one aspect is the physicality of it. Obviously it's more physical in tackle, but I think in more so in IQ wise, like it's tough because I had to play quarterback for my flag football team, and let me tell you, that is not no easy feat at all. Mind you, I was playing, like I said, I mentioned before, I played on a free agent team, but overall, I think this is a very exciting opportunity regardless. And I kind of want to look into like some potential lineups, and this is what I think the dream team would be if a lot of superstars opt into playing in the 2028 Olympics. So for quarterback, we can either put Patrick Mahomes, or we could put Lamar Jackson at quarterback. You got Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley at running back. At receiver, you got to have the fastest guy on the field. You better put Tyreek Hill out there. Tyreek Hill and Jamar Chase at receiver. And then, because they have like a center, but I think the center can actually go out for passes because they don't have actually any line for the for flag. So we'll put Brock Bowers. I mean, he's one of the best tight ends in the league right now. He's young too, so he's very fast and can be a mismatch as well for any Slovenian corner that's trying to guard him or whatever. So, and then on the defensive side, I believe they have like one rusher, I believe. So this is why not put Micah Parsons or TJ Watt out there to rush the passer and stuff like that. They're very fast guys and very physical as well. For our corners, though, let's for our lockdown guys, we got to put the defensive player of the year out there and Patrick Surtain the second, and then also put Sauce Gardner out there on the other side to pair up with them, and then we got to put Fred Warner. You got to put Fred Warner out there in the middle. Probably one of the best linebackers to date right now. So. And these are just recent guys. I think, what is it? I believe for this as well. What is it? I think UFL. They can probably get CFL guys as well. And then what is it? Again, NFL. And then again, like you can get people like Daryl, and from that are non-participants in like the higher leagues and stuff like that. So I'm kind of excited for it. But coming in 2028. I'm hoping, we'll have more of an idea who would want to play and whatnot. Like I said, it is a risk factor. Money might be involved and stuff as well. So it's kind of like, what the NBA's having with their own issues with like their all-star game and stuff like that. I feel like that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, it feels a little bit different from the NBA, from NBA players playing in the Olympics to the NFL players playing in the Olympics. It feels a little bit different. I don't know. I don't know how successful this will be. I want you guys to let me know what you guys think down below. Let me know in the comment section, what's your dream team for one? And for two, like, do you think this is going to be successful? And then are you looking forward to it in 2028? And so another Another big uh rule has been passed, or got kind of didn't really change, but the tush push is gonna live for another season. So it did not get banned. That's been I don't even know. And honestly, y'all, again, not too sure why that even was, a topic, I guess, for this season. A lot of people, a lot of owners, coaches and stuff were saying that it was a safety issue, but I don't think there was that many injuries resulting from the tush push these last couple of seasons. So it did not get banned. Unfortunately, my Denver Broncos voted for it to get banned, but it's like, why? First of all, why are we doing that? And what is it? We play the Eagles every 4 years, so it's like, why are we trying to? I don't know what the idea around it to really get it banned. The funny thing is, every Eagles opponent except the Detroit Lions, Dan Campbell and them, they embrace that. They embrace a lot of, nasty, hard-nosed football. They wanted it banned. Like every Eagles opponent this year got it banned. So, and then, like I said, like my thoughts about this, y'all. I'm glad the tush push didn't get banned. I think it's it's not hurting the game. It's really not. I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, if you can't stop it, that's a you problem. They need to stop worrying about trying to ban it and start worrying about ways to prevent or stop the tush push. You know what I'm saying? Like other teams other teams have tried to do the tush push. Like, what is it? The Buffalo Bills try to do it. A lot of other teams try to do it. I mean, is it as successful as the Eagles? No, they perfected that. They perfected that tush push dating back to when Jason Kelce was their center. So overall, looking at this team, wanting to get it banned. Unfortunately, though, it's going to probably be a topic of discussion next year. And, teams are going to keep, owners, the league's going to keep a close eye on this tush push next year. And we might see it get banned, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? Like, the NFL has been kind of, I'm not here to scrutinize. I don't really try to scrutinize as much, but the NFL has definitely gotten a little bit softer as years gone on. So, I'm hoping they don't get it banned. But let me know what you guys think. Do you think the tush push should have been banned, or do you think they should just probably take it off the table in general and just let them play ball? You know what I'm saying? Another thing has been brought to the meeting that happened in the spring as well is now they made an official new award for the NFL, y'all. So this award, it is, what is it? The Protector of the Year award. That's what it is called. And I think this is long overdue, by the way, because it honors the best offensive lineman each season. The winner will be selected by a panel of former linemen themselves. And like I said, this is well long overdue, because I know in college football they have a award for every position damn near. I mean, they even got the Ray Guy. What is it? That's like the best punter in the country. So it's like, I'm glad they're trying to transition this into the NFL. And letting these offensive linemen get their respect. And so, because like I said, some of these offensive linemen are crucial. These guys are crucial. These are the guys in the trenches. They're crucial for a lot of plays that happen. They don't get as much spotlight. Saquon himself, he had almost damn near 2,000-yard rushing season. I think he did actually last year. He was the offensive player of the year, and he gave his flowers to the offensive line. And he said he felt like without the offensive line, and we can all think about that too. Without that offensive line over there in Philly, Saquon wouldn't have the season he had. We seen what he could do. When he did with New York, but New York had a shitty ass O-line. So it's like, you look at these two teams, you could see the importance of having, a very strong offensive line. In particular, having an all-pro offensive lineman on a team or anything like that, that are very nasty and very gritty themselves, that can really, that are good in pass protection, good in run blocking, and getting downhill and stuff like that. So, I'm a defensive guy myself, so it's like, but I can see what the offensive linemen have been doing, so I'm glad they are able to finally get, some recognition for, they do get, obviously, with, what is it, PPF or PFF, whatever it is, highest rated offensive lineman. Like, we have all that. We get to look at it that way, like lowest sack percentage rates and stuff like that. Like, but in general, it's really good that we're actually getting this, give them their their respect, and I'm glad that they actually did it as a panel of former linemen, because like I said, who knows it better than former linemen? And I think some of the guys, I'm assuming probably Andrew Whitworth, Trent Williams, stuff like, guys like that, probably will later on down the line be a part of this panel. Now let's look at what could have been some of the potential winners of the past, and these are just some of the guys. And I know there's a lot more other guys, but these are some of the marquee guys that really just shine the lights on offensive linemen. The main guy himself is Jason Kelce, y'all. Like, we know he's a legendary lineman himself, a legend in Philly for sure. You got the other Philly guy, Lane Johnson, he's a legend as well. Zach Martin, the Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman. Quentin Nelson probably could have won that in 2019 when he got drafted. He was balling out. Trent Williams, like I said, Andrew Whitworth, and even Joe Thomas. See, Joe Thomas, if the Browns had one good player for sure that I can remember, that was just consistent on a day-to-day basis, was Joe Thomas. So that's another guy right there for sure. So, but let me know what you guys think about this Protector of the Year award. Are you guys excited about this? Who do you guys think will be the finalists for this upcoming season? Is there any guy that you guys think will surpass that? Do you think there should be another award that could be added to the NFL? Let me know what you guys think, okay? And some other news though, y'all. We're gonna shift over to the 49ers, y'all. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I was criticizing the 49ers a lot this offseason because it just seemed like they were just blowing up their entire team. In terms of they lost people in free agency, they traded a bunch of guys, and it just looked like it was gonna go downhill for them. But if we look at it from a wider perspective, they lock up two of their top guys this upcoming season. So they locked up Brock Purdy, and they got Fred Warner a new contract as well. So for Brock Purdy, his new contract is a 5-year, $265 million contract with $181 million guaranteed. That is around $53 million a year. He's getting paid more than, I think Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, stuff like that. So pump the brakes before you even think he's getting overpaid, y'all. I think this is right in his alley. Those other guys are just getting underpaid in the sense of because the QB market it skyrockets every single season. So, and then it's just nonstop growing as the year goes on. So with this contract, this makes Brock Purdy the 7th highest paid quarterback in NFL history, or in the NFL at least this season. And let's kind of look at his accolades. Let's look and see why he got paid. And before we get started, I want y'all to know that I truly believe he deserves this contract for sure, and I want to know what you guys think as well. He has a 23-13 record. He's 4-2 in the playoffs. Those 2 losses being in the NFC Championship game and in a Super Bowl. So he has 2 NFC Championship appearances. He has 1 Super Bowl appearance as well. He's thrown for over 9,518 passing yards. He has 64 touchdowns to 27 interceptions. The crazy thing is, too, though, y'all, if we look at this contract, you're probably thinking, damn, he's the 7th highest paid quarterback in the league. He actually took less money. He took less money to make it easier to surround him with talent. And like I said, this is a really good deal here. He went on to state it. He said, obviously, I want to get what I deserve. Also surround myself with guys around me. Pause. Not just try to take every penny. But I think this is a very humbling statement coming from a humbling place himself. He goes from Mr. Irrelevant. He was the last pick in the draft, and now he's one of the top 7 highest paid quarterbacks. So again, this is well deserved for Brock Purdy himself, and all salute to him. And I really hope this pays off for him, and he has a great season going forward. And his other guy, another one of the top guys for the 49ers, Fred Warner, he got an extension as well. He got a 3-year, $63 million extension. I think it's almost $58 million guaranteed for him, which is crazy. That's damn near his whole contract. He's about to get a majority of the money is guaranteed to him. He's the highest paid linebacker in the league, and let me tell you, this is worth every penny for this guy. And if you guys don't know, I'm sure you guys already were aware that he played injured all last year with a broken ankle, okay? So even with playing with a broken ankle, he still had what was it, like in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, he was defensive player of the year, the favorite in the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season last year. Fred Warner himself, he's a 4-time first team All Pro. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler. He has pure leadership himself. He has a relentless motor, and he just has elite coverage as well. Again, he's one of the best linebackers in this business to date right now. He probably, I don't know, he's up there for sure as like probably one of the greatest linebackers to date. Last season, like I said, he played on a broken foot or a broken ankle, y'all. He had 128 combined tackles last season, 71 solo tackles. He had 4 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, and 1 return for a touchdown. And with Fred Warner, he's the only player since 2019 to have 10 sacks, 10 fumbles, and 10 interceptions. Only player. That's the only player on the list. Amazing right there. So the 49ers with that, they locked up 3 key guys with Fred Warner, Brock Purdy, and obviously they re-signed George Kittle earlier in the offseason as well. So what is next for this team, y'all? You guys let me know what you guys think down below. I know one of my boys, Lee, he's a 49ers fan. I know I was kind of we're bantering back and forth about this team all offseason, and so I want to know what you guys think. Is that Super Bowl window still open? I know Brock Purdy, obviously, and he has to say this. Obviously, he's not going to say that, no, the Super Bowl window's closing, we're done. That's probably only if you don't get paid, though. A lot of players will say that when they're on the edge of their contract and they're not getting paid. But with Brock Purdy, he believes the Super Bowl window is still open for this team. And we'll see. But like I said, the Super Bowl window's still open for them. I think, honestly, I was kind of low on them. Like I said, I thought this was going to be a rebuild year for them, but they just locked up 3 of their guys. With Fred Warner, I know his plate got a little bit bigger with Dre Greenlaw, leaving in free agency to Denver. So, his plate got a little bit more to handle, but. I don't think it might be a regression, but not too far of a regression for them. I can see them try to probably compete for a wild card spot next year. It's just it all just depends really just how, this offseason plays out, and hopefully, barring any, injuries or anything like that. So with that being said, y'all, we have also some college football news, y'all. I haven't really touched on college football in a while, but college football is changing its playoff format again, y'all. So with this new format, now it's like solely only a 12 seed seeding format. So the top 4 teams, regardless of conference championship status, will have the top seed and a bye week. What that means is, if you're ranked, if you're one of the top 4 teams, like ranked, even regardless if you didn't win your conference, so teams like Notre Dame, because Notre Dame's not in a conference, y'all, so they're independent. So if I think them and Navy, I believe, but if they go undefeated or whatever, and they got if they get the third ranked team in the nation, they will stay at the third ranked team, because we had teams like, we had teams like Tennessee that were runner-ups or something for the SEC championship game or whatever, and they were like the 7th seed, but in terms of the playoff rankings, they were like 9th and stuff like that. It was really wacky last year, and it was just, honestly, the competition was very low in terms of this college football playoff format last year. They had like the 12th ranked team in Arizona State, who won its conference at 4, and they also had Boise State, who won their conference in the Mountain West in the top 4 as well. And both teams, Arizona State was ranked 12th in the nation, and then Boise State were ranked 9th. So if this was the new playoff seeding, both of those teams wouldn't have a bye week. And also, these teams, Arizona State and Boise State, they got throttled. So I feel like, they're probably going to change it again going into next year, because I think with this, it was kind of ironic because the NFL actually, they pulled back their ruling. They were going to actually try to change up the NFL as well, almost similar, like with the going based off the top seeding as well, as opposed to winning your division, because you had teams like you had the Chargers last year had 12 wins or something along those lines. Didn't win the division, but you had teams like the Texans who went, I think, 9-8. Had the fourth spot, so and had a home game essentially. So the NFL is looking at doing something like that too, probably in the next year. But I think with the college football thing, I like it. I do like what they're going to do this year. Again, they're probably going to change it next year. They're probably going to even expand the college football playoffs from 12 to probably 16 teams. They're probably going to change up what's going to go in place in terms of the conference championship games. Because looking at this now, looking at how the new format, it seems like the conference championship just doesn't matter, and it's more so just like a regular season game. So I don't know so I think they probably should just remove conference championship games at this point then, and just have the best teams in the nation just compete, I guess. So that's the only thing I don't really like about it, because now conference championship games probably won't mean much for some teams. Like you're not gonna get a group of 5 team get in, make it in, like SMU, like a team like SMU, they probably won't get in, like they did this last year. They got throttled by Penn State, but I think it's more so, like I said, it is kind of just a competition thing too, and so they're trying to really, work around everything. I want to know what you guys think down below. If you believe this new format is going to be successful, if you think this is the right move from the college football playoff committee, if this, like I said, if this is going to work, you know what I'm saying? And I feel it might work. It might work. I believe so too. So with that all being said, though, y'all, that concludes this week in sports. This episode with me, Romeo Sharp, y'all. I do appreciate you guys for tuning in and listening. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week, and hope you guys are tuning into the we're in the final stretch of the NBA season, y'all, too. So probably by the next time we talk, we'll be talking about the NBA finals and what's gonna transpire then. So hope you guys have a good week.